How does a 9-win division champion get the home field advantage? Have the wild card home game? That doesn't make any sense. How does the Vikings, who win 14 games and they're one of the top 3 teams in all of the NFL, have to play away in their first wild card game? It doesn't make any sense. The only way that the Minnesota Vikings were going to get a home game is if they win the division. It doesn't make sense. I think St. Brown makes a lot of sense. I've been saying this forever, and the NFL has been trying to find ways. Well, this is going to work. How that's going to work? We're going to add another wild card team. Hey, why don't we add 16 new teams to this playoff tournament? It makes no sense, and this is something that Roger Goodell should be biting on. This is what the owners should be biting on. This doesn't make sense. How does the Rams have the home field advantage with 9 wins? It doesn't make sense. And honestly, I think the Vikings are way better than the Rams right now. The Rams, who have had a good season, they've been up and down. They've had a lot of injuries. Cooper can't stay healthy. And if Cooper's down, obviously Puka's down. They couldn't stay fully healthy. And Williams, he's up and down. But hey, Williams is still one of the best running backs in the league. Came out of nowhere. The problem right now with the path of the way the playoffs are set up, I think it ruins the thought of what the season really brings. If you don't win your division, you're a wild card team and you're going to be playing away. No matter what, you win 15 games. Just think about this. If there are 2 teams in the same division that wins 15 or more games, think about that. 15 or more games. One of those teams are going to play away for the rest of the playoffs. How does that make sense? That doesn't make any sense. And I think St. Brown has a huge thought and a process of way the NFL needs to fix this up before other players and really other owners are going to start to beat on this and beat the drum. This doesn't make any sense. The NFL needs to clean it up. Even if you win your division, if you have 9 wins and you win the division, if there's other teams that have a better record than you should make the playoffs. Because the division stinks. The division champion should have to make the playoffs. That I disagree. I think the NFL needs to clean that up. The better records, whoever has the better record makes the playoffs. That's the way it should go. You're playing whatever's on your schedule. If you have more wins, you've earned the right to make the playoffs.
We've kind of touched on this too, like with the college the playoff bracket. Like, should you get rewarded just for being in a terrible conference and winning that and getting the bye, or as we've seen, the bye obviously didn't help. So I get where he's coming from. I think you hit the nail on the head when you're like, just because you win your division in a terrible division, like, why are you rewarded for that when there's better teams out there? And then to that point too, it's like, okay, is there an advantage to me winning the division, or am I going to get a better draw when we've seen better 4 or 5 seeds win the Super Bowl without winning the division technically? So I don't think you reward it just because you win the division with 9 wins. That doesn't make sense to me. You got to reward the best record and the best product that you've put out there, and just because it's in that division, I don't necessarily think that they should get the home field advantage over another team that has 14 wins.
I agree, but you have to let the division winners still in the playoffs. You can't just kick them out of the playoffs because they didn't have as great a season. You don't know about injuries or whatever. Like, the Rams have been pretty good, and now they're healthy. Like, they're a scary team, like, to play. And I know Minnesota got the rod into the stick, but it's like they deserve to be there because they won their division. Unfortunately, their division sucked this year, but there has to be some incentive for winning the division. So I don't think they should get the home field advantage, but I think they should still be in the playoffs. And then they duke it out. They go to Minnesota this week or whatever have you. But I think if Minnesota has a better record and there's a division winner, they play, and then Minnesota gets home field advantage. But you have to keep the division winners, or just get rid of divisions altogether and just randomize the schedule. Just doing it that way. So that way Minnesota doesn't get hosed for having a great season. But, the Rams still get a chance because, like I said, they're healthy now. They've been kind of on a hot streak, and they're a scary team. Like, I don't think Minnesota's looking forward to go play Matt Stafford and all those guys.
They already beat him this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting their guys back.
Exactly. So I don't think they're looking forward to it.
Well, I wouldn't be afraid of the massive fans impact in LA against the Vikings in this round personally, but I do agree with you, Owen. I don't really understand why the team that wins 4 more games are in certain cases, or 3 more games, has to be on the road because of divisions. It doesn't make any sense. If it was, AFC to NFC, it could be a little bit different from year to year, but no, it just doesn't make sense. You've got to let those guys have the home field. And it's really not as much for the players because, look, the Giants, they run on the road twice the entire time and won 2 Super Bowls. The last 2 Super Bowls they won. So it's not like you can't do it. As a player, I don't think it's as important. As an owner, I'd be pretty pissed. As an owner, I'd be pretty upset that I don't get that revenue, even though I spent all this money to make sure that my team was great. And all of a sudden, some 9-8, nonsense team gets a home game over my guys and I lose out on millions of dollars. I would be pretty upset about that. So I think they may take a look at it for that reason, but look, you as a player, you go and play. Sometimes you like it better on the road anyway.